Hello and welcome. So before I get started, I took down the videos I put up last week in case you saw them or you noticed or whatever. And the whole, thanks to actually a viewer had left a comment that totally resonated with me. I didn't feel comfortable doing the collection video. It was very apparent in my videos that I don't feel comfortable doing it. And then honestly, after I showed what I had that I don't really use, like one of the videos showed decks, I had one that was retired decks, which are already on my channel in the back catalog. The next one video were decks that were new to me. Well, I haven't really explored them yet, so I didn't have anything to say yet because I didn't have time with them, which was the first video, which a kind friend had sent me. And then the third video were the decks that just sit on my shelf that I don't use. And I don't even know why I keep them. So I didn't have anything. I didn't feel good. I didn't like the energy of my videos. It was obvious that I wasn't comfortable doing it. So I just made them, I took them down and decided. And then the reason I took them down was the next video was going to be my core decks. Well, they're already up on my channel. There's a video of the decks that are integral to my spiritual practice, my folk magic practice. What I'm trying to say is I haven't had a lot of change in the decks that I use, or I haven't had any real, a lot of additions to the decks that I use. So what's the point? And it just, I need to make content that I enjoy consuming when I do consume content, and that it was inauthentic to me, so I took them down. There. I hope you're all having a great day. The lovely Elisa at The Art Occultist tagged me in this hashtag 54321 tarot that was created by Kelly Bear. And I thought, okay, well, I could do 54321 tarot because it's not, I don't know, I really like it. I really like the construct of it. And yeah, so let's start. So the first prompt is 5 tarot decks. I don't have 5 tarot decks to share because you've seen them all except for 2 that I'm probably going to share today. I don't know, maybe you've seen them too on my channel. I don't know. Like I said, I don't have a lot of new decks coming in anymore that stay. Like now occasionally I'll pick up a deck and it doesn't work for me for whatever reason. Either it doesn't read well or I can't handle it with my hands. It's a whole thing, people. It's tiring to listen to me talk about it. I'm sorry. So I'm not going to talk too much about it, but I will share some that are new to me and some that that 3 are tarot decks and 2 are oracle decks that are not quite oracle decks. They're more like, well, you'll see. So let's get started. The first deck I'm going to share with you is new to me. It came to me from a friend who it didn't work out for them. Oh my God, I really should have taken these out of bags. I have to watch this. And it's the Antique Anatomy. This one surprised me. And I got it just before, maybe I was using it for about a week before we were evacuated. And that's a thing too. Being evacuated and almost losing our home with all our belongings in it has really changed me. It has changed me. Anyone who's experienced it, I know you're out there. I talked to some of you who've been evacuated, some who've lost their homes. It it really changes how you feel about your stuff. It really change it, you know, and it changes your priorities. So this one went with me when we were evacuated because I was just starting to get to know it. And so that was one of the newest ones that came in. And one that I've had for a while, but oh my God, look at this bag. I've gone crazy with the granny core people. One it's not like, so the deck is new to me. I got this deck. I got this tarot deck, the cards, in the spring, and I've been enjoying this creator's website for years and years and years, the Tree Spirit website. And I only clued in, oh my God, people, I only clued in this year that not only does she have a deck, but also a book that I'm going to feature in my 4 books. So I got the book first, and then, you know, I thought, oh, geez, maybe it would be nice to have the cards. So this is the Tree Spirit Tarot, Laura Virtues Wouters, and her website is everything. Her website has been my go-to resource for Tree Spirit information for years and years and years and years. I can't even tell you how long it's been bookmarked. So I find it funny that I never clued in that there was a print book or a tarot deck that accompanied that website. Well, so that's my so this is another one that's new to me, and I haven't really used it a lot. I don't use it as much for tarot as I do as an oracle. And if I were to be really honest, I still use the website more than I use the cards, and I use the book more than I use the cards, because the book is perfect for bibliomancy. The next tarot deck is one I got, and the last tarot deck I'm going to feature in this tag is one I got for my birthday, and it's the Brady Tarot. I've been wanting the Brady Tarot for quite some time, and the biggest thing that was stopping me from getting it was being able to handle it. It's quite heavy, and I can riffle shuffle it once. But what I do is I just split it in half, and I just, you know, riffle shuffle it if I want to, because it does riffle. And honestly, if you have larger hands than me and they're healthy, you have no problem shuffling this deck. Healthy, you know what I mean. And this totally fits in with, I'm so happy that I finally did get it, and it was for a special birthday. Well, for me, it's a milestone. I love hitting the middle of a decade. I love switching decade, and I love hitting the middle of a decade. I'm weird. And this one, I'm still getting to know it, but this one, where animal-wise works really well for me. Like I've been using it for years and years and years. It's more oracle in my experience, in the way I work with it, than this one. This one is tarot. And I'm again, I mentioned it before, I'm going to mention it again. I don't know if I mentioned it in my last video, but that's up. But I'm very grateful to you, T, for taking the time to do that short where you showed me how you handled the cards, because I'm so happy that I was able to you know, decide to get it, and I'm loving it. I'm loving it. It works for me. It fits right into my practice. It fits in with the other things I do, and that although it's you know, my spirituality is very rooted in realism, and that lends itself to that. The next 2 decks, one of them is one that I got for my birthday last year that I never shared. Oh, I didn't realize the box was dinged. Anyway, that I've never shared. and it's not a tarot deck. Um, it's like runes, only in card form, but it's not the Elder Futhark runes. It's a system that was devised by Freya Norling, Freya and Daniel Norling. You may know Freya Norling's channel and her series, A Discovery of Nordic Witchcraft. There's a lot of crossover, or there's a lot of interconnectedness between my practice and her practice. She was born in Italy, and she lives in Norway, and I have Italian roots, and my ancestors are both from the south, or both more than, well, yeah, are both from the south, the southern end of Italy, and the northern. My mom specifically is from the part of Italy that borders with Slovenia, so we're a little bit all over the place, and I'll cover some, I think I've talked about it as well, but not a little all over the place. But I'm very blessed to have both Italian folk practice and Slavic folk practice exposure, or, you know, like history, or the practices are all kind of mixed, but also they're all they're both very similar as well. And my ancestors that are from Italy that borders with Slovenia are also from other places as well, right? Because nomadic people. But anyway, I digress. This is not about that. So the magical drum, this is handmade. And I got this for my birthday last year. And I'll just show you what it is. It is based on the Runebom, which is the Sami of North Norwegian, the North Norwegian Sami people, indigenous people of northern Norway. Oh my God, sorry, I'm like stuttering. But it's Freya Norling's and Daniel Norling's own system. It's just based on that. And this is beautiful. Of course, it's, as you can see, it's like really thick cards. They're like runes, only in card form. And it's been a really important part of my practice since I got it last year. And it's very special to me. And I thought I'd share it briefly, because there's the only video I saw of it was on Freya's channel. It's very, like we say in Italian, it's very particolare, you know, like when it's one of those, it's very particular. It's not for everybody, but neither am I. Here we go. Okay. The last one I wanted to share is this one that I had to make a bag for, because I posted on my Instagram that the box is just hard for me to handle. And I'm so happy I figured out how to make a round bag. And it's this one, and it's the Kantiji Oracle. This is a case of the book, and this is, and now I'm gonna, so I showed you 5 decks, right? And now we're gonna go into the books. This is one of the books in my 4 books that, whether I use these or not, doesn't matter. This is a great book. I've been really enjoying it. It's great for bibliomancy. I love it for bibliomancy. It's nice to pick up a book instead of cards sometimes, to be honest, right? It's like I've been handling cards my whole life. So I love a good solid book that you can use as bibliomancy, or you can use for bibliomancy. But like I keep mentioning, I don't know what it's going to be like on video, but people, publishers need to think a little bit about what they're doing with the really tiny font and green, really tiny green font. So this literally is a book that I need to have like bright lights on. It doesn't lend itself to the ambiance that I like to relax in, which is dim lighting and candles and incense and the whole thing. This requires I have the lights on, and yeah. but I'm really enjoying it. It's not a divination tool, just like the magical drum is not a divination tool, it's a spiritual tool. Now, yes, most of my cards are spiritual tools, but some are just specifically for that thing. I don't, although if I draw a card from here, I have realized or noticed that it's always very pertinent. It's not, I don't use Oracle that way. And I wouldn't even say it's an Oracle deck because it's its own little thing. And that's the 5th deck I wanted to feature today in my 5 decks. And this is the first book. The next book I mentioned already is, okay, let's pass this one over here, is this one. This is the guidebook to the Tree Spirit Tarot. As you can see, I didn't have to read it out to you. Sorry, guys. I can't see the camera. But anyway. And again, lends itself beautifully to bibliomancy. And it is pretty much her website in book form. And so that's the second book. The next book I wanted to share is new to me this year. And I'm going to do like the Polish folk witch, like Joanna, and share with you books that are not in English, but it's not. This one's not available translated to English. It's the almanac of popular traditions, and by popolari they mean folk traditions. So it's not popular as in has a lot of friends. It's popular as in popolari is as in folk. So this is the almanac of folk traditions, of Italian folk traditions. And I am really, really enjoying it, except for the binding. So I'm hoping to break it in a little bit better. And I'm gearing up to offer some more things to the public. And one of them is going to be where I discuss these books that are not available in English, either a little bit on my channel. I may set up some kind of different situation where we'll see. I'm not going to talk about anything now because I'm the kind of person, I only talk about things once they're done. So it's still formulating, but I'm really, really enjoying this book. Although I don't live in Italy, the climate where I live is very similar to, because I'm in North America, right? If you're in the Northern Hemisphere, you know, the climate is pretty much comparable. But it's just all the folk practices that I enjoy. And I don't know if you could see this, but it's very sweet. I love it. I love it. But and the 4th book, actually there is an English translation too, and it's L'Alba dei Veneti, Mito e Storia delle Origini. Now, Veneti is the people that my mom is my mom's, the people she comes from. Okay. And this is a beautiful book. This is the Italian version of this book, where it connects the Veneti to the Celts and all that stuff. And it's fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic. I haven't read it cover to cover. I go in and I read a little bit and then I put it away. But for those of you that are interested, who are Italian and want to branch out a little bit beyond the, you know, the evil eye and the corno and all this stuff, like who want to branch out a little bit into where you learn about the pagan roots, I highly recommend it. It's an interesting read, and it's also it's translated to English. King Arthur's Tribe, A New Anthropology of the Vanity. And it also has the pictures inside, the images inside and stuff, but it's not in color. Like it's not the same quality as the one in Italian with the nice magazine type paper. But you know, it's the same book. And if you are of Italian descent and you're exploring, you're exploring folk magic, and you're thinking, oh well, is that it? Is it just the evil eye and the corno and the because it does seem that way, because Italian folk magic could, is like any other folk magic, right? It could be very the information could be very derivative, or if you're staying within the Catholic flavor, the Catholic construct, where, because the Catholicism in it is inextricably linked, and it's a tapestry, Italian folk magic, just like the folk magic from other countries. Folk magic, by its very nature, is a tapestry. It's a tapestry of the religion, which is the Catholicism, the paganism, the surviving paganism, the indigenous practices, the superstitions, and it's all woven into this beautiful tapestry that you can't remove one from the other, because it lessens the whole, right? So, oh my God. Okay. Thus endeth my chit chat on folk magic. Okay. The next prompt is 3 spreads. At first I thought, I don't do spreads, but you know what? I'm a liar, pants on fire. I do spreads, and I just don't call them that. So if I'm making a decision about something, I will do something like this. I will say, okay, so this is what's happening right now. This is the situation. So I meditate, or I concentrate on the situation, and then I'll pick 2 cards. I'll pick 3 cards. What's the projected outcome of this situation if I do nothing? And where is the situation going if I make this change to it? And what is the outcome of this situation? And this is if I have a second option, right? Or a second idea of what I want to do. What is the outcome of this? So this is if I do nothing. Leave everything as it is. This is if I make one change that I'm thinking about. And this one is if I make the other change. So I wasn't thinking of a situation, but suppose I was. What is this pretty much telling me? It doesn't matter. If I do nothing, it's fine. If I make this change in course, it looks, to be like a little more, I would read this as, there's a little more security there. Maybe it's a safer option. If I go with this other one, it's going to require the assistance of a co-conspirator. You see, so that's one spread that I do a lot that I didn't realize was a spread. When I read for the public, I do the zodiac spread. I've mentioned this before. It's 12 cards, starting with Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo. And then I read it, I read the tarot card in relation to either the sign, the sun sign, but actually it's evolved into the houses instead. The first house, second house, third house, fourth house is how I read it. So that's another spread that I do. And then if I were to give you a third example, it's no spread. The way I typically read cards is a conversation. So I get into a nice meditative state, and tap into my spirits, my spirit court, and we have a conversation. And I will say, okay, well, tell me something. Tell me something about today, because that's what's weighing on my mind. So I'll pick a card and I'll say, okay, and and I'll just keep. Okay, well, yeah, you're right. This is what's going on. Do you have any advice for me? And it's telling, then this would inform, do you have any advice for me? And sometimes when you're dealing with spirits, when you're communing with the dead or whatever, sometimes they don't give you the advice right away. Sometimes they give you the criticism, the constructive or sometimes not very constructive criticism, because they're not angels, they're dead. So you know what I mean? Like, your mileage may vary. Okay, well, fine, yeah, you're right, I'm like this. Well, what do you suggest I do about it? Or and it's a conversation. And these conversations for me have, for the most part, 3 cards usually is enough for me to have that conversation, to tap into that stream, that information stream. Sometimes it takes a 4th card. But for the most part, it's 3. I hope that was coherent. The next prompt is 2 tarot habits or paraphernalia. And I combined 2. So I'm old school, and probably if you're and folk witch. So here we are. This is mugwort, and of course I had to sniff it. So this is mugwort. Mugwort is there's just grabbing the cards for reading, and then there's when I'm serious. And when I'm serious, I'll ingest this. I either make it into an oil, where I'll which I don't have any to show you because I haven't made it in a while, but it's just mugwort in olive oil, and just a couple of drops of that under the tongue, and you're flying, so to speak. But anyway, I digress. I could probably talk about that. I am planning to talk about it, but mugwort. The other one is, so the mugwort, it opens the portal, it invites them in, but they got to go home. When we're done, they got to go. And sorry, I don't know if you could see it. Here, I don't know if you could see it. This is the bottom of the jar. This is the jar I take it from. This is my own blend that it contains it contains the herbs required to banish. I affectionately nicknamed it napalm. It's not napalm, but spiritually it's spiritual napalm. This banishes everything. It clears the energy so rapidly and thoroughly. And it's also I'm learning from other people's experience with my concoction, so it contains stuff like agrimony. I'm all over the place. This one contains stuff like agrimony, wormwood, mugwort, spikenard, bistort, which is snake root. It's a folk magic blend. Anyway, but yeah, this invites them in, and this tells them to get the fuck out. There we go. All right, so that's my that's the combined habit and paraphernalia. And the last one is a piece of tarot advice, or a card that I want to embody. Piece of tarot advice. If you're drawn to tarot, stay engaged with it and keep your focus. You know what I'm going to say. If you've been watching me for a minute, keep your focus internal. It's not about the decks, and it's not about the acquisition of decks and the collection of decks. That is separate from tarot. If that is your thing, it's your thing. And you know what? Look, as someone who's been doing this a long time, me too, I fell into the accumulation trap, is what I call it. But, you know, I'm much happier where my focus is actually on tarot, on you know, the reading of tarot, exploring these archetypes in real life, observing these archetypes in real life, archetypes if you want to call them that. I call them spirits, but for everybody to understand what I'm saying, I'm going to say archetypes. To see, my favorite thing about tarot is that when I draw that card, that my weekly tarot card, and to observe that spirit of that card show itself throughout the week in different phases and forms, that to me never gets old. If you're wanting to learn, if you're wanting to practice spirit communication, this goes with the same advice, where it's like, find a deck with imagery. Don't just learn the meanings of the cards according to somebody else in a book. Find a deck. This is a deck that it's not my favorite. It never has been, because it doesn't read well for me. But when I read for other people, this is the language that the spirits speak, because I can read this and it will unfold in front of me in pictures. I'm not saying that reading from books and applying psychology is not valid. What I'm saying is that if you're like me and you're a folk practitioner, my nonna didn't read 78 Degrees of Wisdom, but she could read cards like a hot damn. So here we are. So that's it for me. Thank you, Elisa, for tagging me. I'd like to tag, yeah, I'm going to call out some people. I would like to tag Mistress Ray and Sylvain Demancy, and who else would I like to tag? Oh, I'm going to have to think about this. I'm going to tag people in my description box. So if you're watching this, you already see the people I tagged in my description box. Oh, you know who I would like to tag? Good wife, Rebecca at the Crone House. For sure. So those are the three off the top of my head. And I also would like to thank Mad Witch, who messaged me that she would have tagged me, but she didn't know if I would be into it. So, but she tagged me anyway, like, you know, in a conversation. That was sweet. So thank you, Mad Witch. All right. That's it for me. And wherever you are in the world, I'm wishing you a beautiful day.